Welcome back to this episode of 1320 Time Stream. And in this section, we're going to cover today's oracle for the blue rhythmic eagle. So here's our rhythmic eagle. And as always, pause it so you can see longer. I tend to go through these quickly. Same as the daily power. Okay, going up here to our rhythmic seed. Now I remember seed coming up earlier. I think, to be honest, yes, it was yesterday in the challenging power. Wow, if you really think of it, I'm just going to do this really quickly. I don't usually do this because I don't want to confuse people, but let's take a look at yesterday. Look at that. The challenging and helping power are simply reversed today, right? So what was challenging is now the helping, and what was the helping power is now challenging. And so, and while yesterday we're empowering the seed, empowering the ideas, now we're organizing them. So I find it's cool how there's like this continuum. The seed has come forth with continuosity because of the ego. And so I also find that's really, unique because you have the wizard, which is also kind of beginning to show that higher mind. It's showing like the higher or more evolved aspect of the human, having undergone the architecture of the journey of the Skywalker, right? And so the eagle is a much more abstract, purified value of higher mind itself. And so these two aspects come with us too, it seems, which is the serpent and the seed and the serpent, which again are even also right next to each other. Seed is 4, serpent is 5. Serpent is 5, seed is 4. So 4 and 5, 5 and 4, right after each other. And then look down at the bottom, we got the world bridger, which is 6. Right? Let's just see if that's yesterday too. Nope, no world bridger yesterday. I don't want to confuse people. I just like to show some of those connections. So we have a 4, 5, 6 energy, which I think is really cool because there's a continuosity there, and it really shows that there's a flow, a dynamic flow of how the energy is moving. And it even actually goes in order as we go from 4 to 15 to 5 to 6. The 15 is the eagle, and the eagle is the guiding power. So we're going 4 seed, 15 eagle, 5 serpent, and 6 world bridger. So there's a nice counterclockwise continuosity there, continuum. So we're organizing and balancing and equalizing, finding a rhythm with those ideas, with those things that we began nurturing or began like watering, watering the seeds, watering the plants. I always find there's a different dynamic between watering the plants and planting them for the first time, right? There's, so the other seed days may be in reference to these things, like, okay, we've already planted the seeds, so we're not really so much in an idea stage right now. We're helping coax the awareness out of the hardened shell that has protected it, and so we're giving it that nurturing energy. We're watering it, right, so that they come out. And I find this also kind of works into the equalization organization process, because as that awareness comes out, it's ready, right, to take on form. And that's kind of what we're seeing too, is the over self-existing, there we go, which is tone 4. Self-existing yields to overtone. Definition and form takes command. Command become organized. And so in this way, the form is the seed, the energy of taking command is like the awareness in the seed, and as the flower begins to come out, it's now like kind of like organizing its external reality in some ways. So I think all these elements are kind of in there. Moving up to the guiding power here today, which is our eagle. We've actually talked a lot about the eagle so far, and so we're not going to go too heavily into it, but really organizing that higher mind, really balancing and communicating with that part of ourselves that's the wizard, that is just kind of evolving into that more abstract fundamentality. The eagle can start to, like, while the wizard can be like practices that bridge the value systems and the codes of conduct, the eagle more abstractly represents the very codes of conduct. These are the things that how your mind itself is organized by, your sense of self, your moral structure, things like that. And so, today may be really marked by communicating, sharing, defining, embodying, witnessing, of this kind of quality. On the challenging power, and I find this beautiful, it's what I call the riddle of the serpent and the eagle. Now, before I go into just the general daily energy, the riddle of the serpent and the eagle is that, the serpent is that lower kind of bodily energy. And again, I choose lower not because it's less, no, it's not in a hierarchy, it's because the serpent slithers on its belly on the ground. Right? And so it is much lower in proximity to the eagle, which is soaring in the sky. Now, the kind of dynamic in the holarchic sense in our body is that the serpent is representing those feelings, those instincts, those, knowing what's right in front of your face. See, the serpent on the ground, belly on the ground, only knows what it's directly experiencing. And the eagle sees the entire picture. It can see much more than the snake, at least visually, right? And so this is another one of those dynamics where the serpent energy being in the challenge, and this is how I see it, is like the serpent energy is a call for us in our great and eagle wisdom, in our eagle mind, in our eagle vision and sight, being able to see everything. Let's not forget the body. Let's not forget the senses that complete us. It's that whole like rainbow feathered serpent, Quetzalcoatl, the dragon kind of energy when you combine them together and they're working in harmony, as opposed to the eagle classically attacking the serpent, the eagle attacking the mind, attacking the body, the masculine attacking the feminine. These kind of energies come up. So in this respect, having the organizing and equalizing aspects really guide and shape that serpent energy. Wow, there's so many ways it can come out. I feel equalizing, can really bring energy to like those sharper aspects of the snake, almost like that viper, that thing that wants to strike. Maybe equalizing that, and more coming into the flow of energy aspect. Today, the challenge aspect around like survival, how am I going to survive? Maybe it's a rent bill, food related aspect, which is difficult to really see how you're going to get on top of that, right? Or just the different ways that you may interface other people, and there might be a more pointed or sharp or primalistic aspect. I do find, just in a general theme though, the serpent a lot of the time when it comes to real life or regular life is that it can really represent like things you got to do, like kind of real world problems or real world issues, the rent, food and bills, certain people being present or not when you're trying to do something. It really holds that. And you can also realize that in the our brain complex, that more like lower individual dynamic complex. It's like, okay, like, if I don't eat, I'm going to die, right? That kind of thing. That's like the reptilian brain. That's the serpent here. And so, we're finding a rhythm with that. We're finding a rhythm of how that shows up and recedes. And, very much like the serpent has a natural rhythm. Anyway, it's slithering. It's like a sine wave pattern, quite naturally. And in that respect, too, it's also the sexual energies. And this is why its value with kind of organizing your sexual energy in the face and mind of the eagle, because the higher mind is very inspired. It's supported. It is directly channeled by those sexual energies. Those sexual energies become the like kind of interdimensional body chakra, luminous rainbow light energy that then ignites the higher mind into that more immaculate collective vision, which then of course can go higher into that more intergalactic mind represented by the sun. So I find there's a lot of correlations here. Moving along, what we got here, we have the Galactic World Bridger. Boom, Galactic World Bridger. And so I find it interesting that we're on the higher mind, we touched in Galactic Mind, and under here is the Galactic Tone. While it's not directly relating to those particularly galactic properties, I find it kind of alludes to, it's like, this is like the galactic death. And so it feels to me that there's a purifying, initiatory, letting go process which allows one to come into your harmony and your integrity. Very much like, this is the right and the left today, our right elbow, left elbow. And, one is organizing and equality. And equality is similar to that harmony. Equality and harmony are very similar It's almost like harmony to me feels like a sentient, electrified version of equality. Things are equalized, that process is already there. Now it's sustainable. And so there's energy moving in that, so much so that it takes on its own sentient kind of attitude and vibration. And so I feel the World Bridger energy here is really saying like, okay, cool. Well, these are the things that you might have to let go. This is how the worlds are going to bridge. Like one aspect of the World Bridger is bridging the worlds. The other aspect is separating the worlds, right? Coming together, going apart. It's kind of similar to that two energy of the lunar tone, that polarization, right? So this World Bridger energy, which is also an equalizer, equalize, death, and opportunity. And we have equalization in the rhythmic tone and equalize. So today's another day where both of those are present, even though they're not necessarily present in the same seal. They are present as energies that are compatibly working with each other here throughout the day. And so we have this really amazing World Bridger quality that's going to help us refine. It's a refiner energy. It's white. So we have like initiators, which are red, refiners, which are white, transformers, which are blue, and ripeners, which are yellow, right? And so the World Bridger is a refinition quality. It's going to help us sand off the edges of a certain thing. And so this particular one is the death energy, and that death energy is helping us sand off the energies of our integrity, right? And integrity is the sustainable pillars to harmony. Without integrity, there can be no harmony. And so integrity and harmony are lasting features. While integrity is like the infrastructure or architecture of harmony, harmony is the glow or life force that exists within a sustained integrity. Right? So the World Bridger is helping us really achieve that integrity. I feel hidden and dappled throughout, the day's events and energies. Okay, that feels like a very relevant download, and I'm going to leave it there. Okay, stay tuned for the Mind Pyramid meditation.